You wanna know what needs to be talked about more these days? Cult awareness. I've known people, decent people, who've asked for directions one day only to be jumping off a building to be one with the sky goddess Halawadi 5 days later. It's insane how many of my friends have done this. Maybe that's why I don't have any. No time to think about that. Why was I here again? Oh yeah, cults. You know the ones. Scientology, Jim Webb's thing, the Manson family, Mormonism. But whenever I see the topic of cults come up in anime, it's always in the most played out way. For instance, with my very limited knowledge of the medium of anime, I've only seen 2 shows even try to tackle the topic, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and Golden Time. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX had troublesome cult portrayal. I don't remember the specifics, I watched it like 5 years ago, but there was this borderline anorexic guy preaching a message of embracing the light or something. My big problem with this cult representation is that the show makes it so obvious that, oh geez, this is a cult, better not join them willingly. Which is exactly what happens. No one wants to join Cult Light, so leader guy has to beat people in duels to convince them, or something. It was weird. I was 10. The thing is though, this is in no way actually representative of how actual cults work. I, as a 16-year-old teenager, am the expert on cults, and you're going to sit down and let me tell you my story. Cults are more subtle than GX will have you believe. They're like the pedophile down the street who offers you candy. They have to convince you that what you're eating totally isn't poisoned, I promise. They need to trap you in them, and to do that, there has to be something in it for you, or else they have no chance of expanding their ranks. That, of course, leads me to Golden Time. Golden Time has by far the best build-up to a cult I have ever seen. This cult is sneaky, subtle, and moderately appealing after a while. Like that nice man who offered you a drink at the bar and you woke up in an alleyway the next day for some reason. Sure, it was a terrible decision in hindsight, which is why Golden Time is here to give us a tutorial on how to spot a cult, so we don't have to learn the hard way and 6 months pregnant. In the second episode of Golden Time, the MC, Tada Banri, inquires as to why Coco, the female lead, is all by herself, to which she replies that 0 clubs have tried to recruit her as of that moment, which, when compared to the constant barrage of clubs attempting to recruit Banri, it's just really fucking bizarre. She then points out that the only reason she even has a flyer to a club is because it was just lying around, and what's that flyer say, by the way? Event Circle. Happy College. That was the first red flag right there, did you catch it? First of all, let's ignore the fact that a circle is the most culty shape that has ever existed, and instead focus on a very specific word in that flyer. Nothing is happy, ever. Especially in colleges, birth grounds to debt, the world is an awful, bitter place where misunderstanding leads to death threats and smug, self-satisfied atheist YouTubers who debunk feminists. Fuck this place, it's awful. How dare you tell me anything is happy? Have you looked at the world these days? Don't. Just don't. You'll get sad. So yeah, that was the first sign of a cult. So, Coco and Banri chat for a bit when a happy, passionate young woman approaches them both, even addressing Coco. Remember, Coco has not had anyone approach her about clubs, so this little action, it's weird. Even weirder, the woman picks up the troublesome flyer from earlier and talks about the club the flyer's advertising as a member of said club. This is red flag number 2. She then describes her club in very wholesome terms, using the phrase, "We view flowers and drink in the spring, barbecue and drink in the summer," to summarize her club's activities. The important thing to notice is that she's saying this with her arms spread out, an unnatural position to hold, right? Remember that GX clip I showed you earlier? The cult member has his arms spread out like that too. Why? Because he's in a cult. Anyone who talks like this is in a cult. Also, have you ever seen a person in a laid-back club? I thought so. She then offers to take them to a cafe nearby to discuss further what this laid-back club is all about. I call it that because she never actually names her club. She has an awful lot to say about her club, but is always super vague with the details. This is red flag number 3. When they get to the cafe, she gets them both bowls filled with coffee, probably to lower their inhibitions, and proceeds to attempt to tantalize them by saying that their club gets exclusive info on upcoming tests and lectures. Since this is a law school, It is highly doubtful that any club would get such information, because the school would be so deep in a lawsuit before they could even get a word out of their mouth in defense. So then there is this transition to night indicating that this woman has been talking forever and our protagonists are close to passing out. This is of course when the woman chooses to mention the weirdest detail of the entire conversation. She states that she is not a member of this university and waves off this threatening detail by pretending that she's just really interested in talking to people from other universities. She actually goes as far to say that other clubs won't let members quit once they join and assures them that their club isn't like that at all, which in the future will prove untrue. But we promise you, our club isn't like that, we promise. Now there's a brief mention of a seminar house meeting held over the weekend, which is a bit suspect, but nothing out of the ordinary. She mentions that her club is not going to ask students for money, and that they're basically getting into this party for free. The idea I've been trying to get across in this video is that this Oh god. Acid reflux. Oh, that is something awful. The idea I've been trying to get across in this video is that this offer is too good to be true, and that it's most likely a trick, and Golden Time is doing an exceptional job of expressing that, especially with just having this lanky woman assume they are going along with it. She's confident in her offer. Oh yeah, and then some stuff happens, and then the episode ends. Onward to the next episode, which admittedly makes the whole cult thing much more obvious, but what is important is that there is no getting out of it for the characters now. They are trapped. So it becomes a representation of the consequences of ignoring the essential red flags. The protagonists meet up at the spot and find others there as well, chit-chat a bit. All of a sudden, 2 fucking vans show up loaded with people in white jumpsuits, wearing the same necklace, marching in fucking unison. Weird. Fucking weird. Give us your name and phone number, please. Get in the fucking van. Wow, that is obviously a cult at this point. I don't even have to say anything else. So I'm gonna conclude this video. Cult awareness is important. Don't do what the fuckers in Golden Time did. Learn the signs and live a happy cult-free life. Da-da, cue the music, but... Acknowledgements. Thanks to FNGR, or For No Good Reason, or the Spanish Inquisition, or Anthony for getting me to write this. You're the best. With luck.